Hi, my name's Kristen Carter-Porrett, one of the co-founders and one of the artistic directors of Djoli Kelen Inc. And we're here today at the feet of our elders, a very special time with us. We would like to thank one of our sponsors, the Sandy Springs Arts Foundation, whose video you just saw. Our organization is actually based here in Sandy Springs. So this is a very special time to come together with the Sandy Springs Arts Foundation to make our city a better place. I am here with, I would like to introduce rather, Miss Diedre Dawkins. She is our moderator for tonight's panel discussion. She is a Bessie Award winner, a 2003 New York City Bessie Award winner for Outstanding Dance Performance, and a 2016 recipient of the President Obama Lifetime Achievement Award for National and Community Service. She is also a 2020 Evidence Award recipient for Artistic Expression with the theme Sisters Prepared, Positioned, and Pivotal for Such a Time as This. In addition to that, she is the founder and director of Dance is Healing, a mentorship program for middle school girls, and was voted 2016 Teacher of the Year at Connections, a community-based arts school. She graduated from the New York City High School for Performing Arts and received her BFA in dance from New York University. We would like to thank Diedre for being here again with us. She's currently the dance director of Connections, the community-based art school, and the founder and director of Connections Repertory Company. Diedre, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for having me. I wanted to thank you and Brother Sulé for pulling this wonderful thing together. Sitting at the feet of the elders is something that I love to do. So I cannot wait to hear the stories of these legends that are before us. I'm going to go ahead and introduce these beautiful people. We'll start with Sister Ramatu. You can turn on your camera. Baba Assane Konte and Brother Bradley Simmons. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Hi.
I'm waiting on Sister Ramatu. I always like to know where you all started. How did this all start for you, right? I know especially you, Assane, because you're not from the United States. So how did you even get here? What was your journey like to even get to this place before KanKouran was born? Let's go ahead and start with you.
Yeah, it's good to be with everybody up there. It's lovely to be with the family. I call it family because these days, you know, we got this reach out for each other and try to work together and try to, you know, make sure, you know, we stick together for the next generation coming up. My journey in the United States, soon I finished college in Africa, I was still dancing those years. And you remember over those years, dance is not something really family really wanted to support you on it. It's all about education because those years is different than now. You know, now new generation got more open to decide what they want to do. And parents would support them or don't support them, they will keep moving forward. It was different with us. We got to stick with the history and the culture and the family value. We never lose that. I was dancing, man, I still go to school. So soon as I finished school, that was the time I make my choice. Man, I didn't want to tell the family. They didn't see me dance in the stage till I left Senegal for many years. And they just happened to see me in the newspaper. They never see me dance. So soon I graduated, I left. It's a dance company wanted me to tour in Africa. And I say, you know what, this is my chance. I just graduated. Hey, this will give me a chance to get away from Senegal and start using dance for professional. And that's the way I left.
Baba, how long was it before you returned back to Africa when you left that first time?
Ooh-wee. The first one in Ivory Coast, I was there for 7 years. And then soon I went back, and then I started going back. I stayed in Ivory Coast for 17 years. So because the reason why I was based in Ivory Coast, because I have a dance company there. So I perform for all the tourists, because those years in Ivory Coast, they don't dance. It's no dance company. Because when they start the Institute of Art, they building it up, I was already there with the president. And they bring somebody from Guinea to run the place, because those years, Rosemary Giro was not there. And she come back years later to Ivory Coast back, but she was doing modern and classical. He was not doing African. So every night he come to see me. That's why we was well connected. So when he come to the state, the first conference, I bring her to teach, because we connected from Ivory Coast before I come to the state. So, and I was there for a long time. And after that, they got me to come to here, to San Diego, Wild Animal Park. That's the one brought me in this country. 1979. That's the way I ended here.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Bob, I'm going to move on to Baba Bradley. Can you tell us about your early beginnings, Baba?
Yeah, New York, Queens. I got started in 1960, but I didn't start out as a drummer. I started out as a tap dancer first. Yeah,
wait a minute, Baba. Tell me who your teacher was.
Leroy Hammond.
What school was that?
Laurie Jackson School of Dance.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
That's how I got started. Drumming came the year after, because when I joined the school, I didn't know they had drumming there until we did the concert that year. And then after my tap class finished doing the number that we did in the concert, as we were coming off, a group of drummers were coming on stage, and me, at that time, my best friend, Melvin Jefferson, was standing in the wings of the theater. And I said, hey, man, we need to look at these guys. Let's see what they're doing. And we watched them play. And that night, we both went home and told our parents we wanted to play drums from that point on. Now, so the following year is when I started playing drums. But I was still tap dancing for at least another 10 years after that. So I was doing both at the same time.
What? Let me find out Baba Bradley know how to tap up in here.
A lot of people didn't know that until I told them, but yeah, that's what Chuck knew. Chuck Davis
really?
Knew. Yes,
that is amazing.
He knew, yeah. But that's my beginning. And then, so I just took the rhythm from my feet on up to my hands and just kept on going from that point on. And that's how I got started. And I used to follow all the great tap dancers back then, from the Hines brothers to, what's his name, Honey Coles, Fred Astaire, of course, Buck and Bubbles, all of them. I used to follow all the old tap dancers. And of course, Bojangles, #1. You know, and I still look at them till this day. You know, whatever old movies coming on, and they doing tap, I'm there. I'm watching them, because it's all rhythmic.
Yeah. Extremely rhythmic. And, you know, it's a testament to the best drummers are dancers. The best dancers
if you put it all together, yeah, that's how it's going to come out.
Right, because you understand both sides of it. Absolutely.
You understand both sides of the fence, yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
That's my beginning.
Thank you, Baba. Mama Ramatu, tell us a little bit about your beginnings.
Beginnings, dance in America or dance way back before I came here?
Let's hear about way back before you came here.
Way back before I came, there was no public dancing for me. Actually, I wanted to go to school of dance and theater and drama in college, and my dad stayed over his dead body. So I danced secretly throughout the time I was at home. Nobody knew that I was dancing. I attended lectures in university with my friends that were in the dance department and theater department, more than I even went to business school where I was supposed to be attending lectures, something like that. And the only time they won't see me is when they were writing their exams. Things like that I did back home, and nobody in my family knew I was doing that because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to act and dance. But prior to that, I also was acting on television. I was an actress from high school in state television, and my dad found out later, so I kind of piped that down and went into the dancing in secret. But what finally did it for me when I got married and moved to United States, the first thing I looked for were the African drums. And this is where I found on the newspaper one day Extensions of Africa Dance here in Atlanta. I called the director. I went over there. I said to them, I don't care if I don't perform or anything. I just want to sit around the drums every time you all are rehearsing. And I will come to their rehearsal. I never missed it, and I became a member. But they were doing djembe dances. Nobody was doing the dances that I grew up doing. So I had to start learning what they were doing so I can fit in, because I didn't want to leave. This is what I wanted to do. And eventually, that company fell apart, and then it was given to a sister called Carol Lloyd. She's a wonderful arts administrator. She took the company again for 1 year, and it fell apart. And then we moved to another area, and then we started was Uhuru Today, and then that was falling apart, and I just got upset and say, I'm gonna start my own company because I don't like this disappointment. I want a company that is here to stay, and we can all study African culture of different countries in Africa and use dance and percussion to present our culture. And this is when the person that I was trying to dance with or start the company with said to me, I think your best match in this mission is a sister called Tukwase. You need to just go to her. I said, oh yeah, I know her. I met her, but I don't know her. So I called her up and I said, I have started my company, but I don't want it to ever fail because this is what I want to do till I die. And she's like, holy cow, let me see you. And I went to see her and I showed her what I've been doing. And she said, okay, we're going to incorporate Nigerian dances. I said, everybody wants to do djembe dance, and that's not what I grew up with. And she said, you know what? You can just have this company under the umbrella of Befu Ballet Children's Dance Ensemble. You don't have to incorporate it and see how it goes. So I was running the company under her. A year later, she said, you know, you're too much for me. So I'm going to take you to your camp brother that will fit exactly where you're trying to go. I said, who is that? She said, Assane Konte. I said, who is that? She said, you going to him. I'm taking you to Washington, D.C. That was 1991. We drove, went to KanKouran, and she took me straight to Assane. And he has been the wind beneath my wings, I say, in dance in USA. He has been supporting me like 100%.
What an amazing journey. And it's, you know, as I was reading your resume, I was like, wow, she's part of that company, she's part of that company, she's part of that company. And I was like,
it wasn't intended. They just won't stay open. They just fight and fall apart, and I got tired. I didn't want to have my own company. I would have been satisfied. If Assane was in Atlanta, I would never have got, to do anything and lead anything. I don't want to lead. I didn't want to lead, but now I have become a leader, so I have to carry this baby all the way.
Yes, absolutely.
And you see, I haven't let Assane go. I'm like, touch. Come on, Papa, let's do this together.
Absolutely. I know Assane KanKouran was my first experience of an extreme example of communal African dance at that conference. I grew up in New York. I met Baba Bradley with my Queens family, and we would rent a bus and literally drive down every year for the KanKouran classes. And that was when we were at the Howard Hotel right over there in that place. So that was like a long time ago. But I remember dancing in that gym and just, oh, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. That was amazing. And, you know, I was coming from Ferretta. That was my beginning of West African training, because I am a contemporary modern dancer. So to have witnessed that at that age, you know, I just made up my mind at that point that that was something that I needed to study, because it's such a powerful tool. And I wanted to transition because I know that all of you are educators in some way, shape, or form. I want you to speak to any testimonials about how culture has changed the lives or saved the lives of the students that you work with. You know, any special stories or anything like that, because this is such a powerful tool that we work very hard to keep alive and keep that tradition as true to its purest form as possible. So any stories that anyone wants to share about and testimonials about the culture and their students?
I had one student that we had to sit on, and he was on his way to jail. And I said, look, man, we grabbed him. His mother called me up and said, you need to come get Atiba. I said, okay, where do I need to get him? Go get him at. So she told me where to go, and I went by there. Had to pick her up first. And we went to the precinct and got him. And he was only 15 at the time. When we got him, she took him home. I called her up and I said, Yvonne, bring Atiba over to Ebo's house and then leave him there. You go away. We'll call you when we finish. We sat and talked with him for 5 hours, nonstop. It was 5 of us. No, it was actually 6 of us. And we sat with him for 5 hours and just gave him the riot act pretty much, but it wasn't physical. It was just like, look, straighten up right here now. And then when it was done, I called Yvonne. I said, you can come get him now. You will have no more problems with him ever again. And you see where he's at today. He teaches at UNCG. He has his own company, Africa Unplugged, and he hadn't done nothing but climb up the whole time. But we had to catch him, you know, at the early stages before he went out there and got totally off the chain. But he was just one of the students that we had to, that I had to sit and talk to. And me and him are like this right now to this day. We talk almost every day, you know, just, yeah. And he's one of them, but there's a few others that was out there, but he's pretty much my main one. And we good now, and he's good. He's doing quite well.
Thank you, Baba. Baba Assane, you have a few?
Yeah.
I know you didn't save the whole village.
That's what I'm saying. You asking the wrong person.
I was to say,
I got too many children, and I don't know where to start. You know what? It's a blessing, because one thing I always, my mom used to tell me all the time, he said, every time you come home, anybody not normal, I don't know how they know you come. They always coming around for some reason. And he says, since you've been a kid, you always been drawing people to you, your spirit. People always wanna, can I have Papa San today? Because, you know, he say, I've always been the one with the dancing and everything. Every kind of neighborhood, every race, I can do their dance. And that spirit, because me and my mom born the same day, 9/11. So we were just alike for one reason. And he say, you know what? You just like your grandfather. My grandfather only have one child. It's my mom. And I got one child. It's my daughter. She right here behind me. She been here visiting me. She leaving Monday. And he say, you got the keys. You don't have to worry. You have them. And so he tell me that years ago, I never forget it. And I say, now I see what is my calling. All these boys with me all these years. So when the conference come, they all come back home. The house is full of them. Pop, 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 up and down, up and down. I'll be waiting for the conference over. They all go on their business. Because you get tired with them. Man, you know what? It's over the years, I learned a lot of things and I see in our community. And because those years, it was hard to find Black people who want to be part of what we do. I got mostly white. I never have any Black people. It was hard. It takes so much years. That's the way I got the idea to have a conference, because of that. It comes from that level. Because I used to go to these churches to offer a dance, offer classes, or performers, talk to the deacon to try to get Black people. It takes years to educate Black people. It looked like they were running from Africa. It started from the park. I was in the park 3 shows a day, 9 o'clock in the morning with all the school, 1 o'clock with the tourists, and 9 o'clock night. For months and months, years and years, in Waldanimo Park. Made to see the Black people, we all always circle with the other race. The Black people, they stay far away watching. They never can able to. And soon I start going to these churches, try to build things up with the community. And it take years. And now, look at it now. They going to Africa. It's amazing to see the transition. Man, the community, we save so many kids through the African art. Because I always tell them, soon I got them, soon you bring them, soon I got them in here, that's it, I got them. Because what we do, I play a lot of game with them over the years. First, education. Because I look at all the time I was here and all the modern company I visited, I work with, Clio, Dallas, all of them. I can see and I learn from them what I need to keep my children, because we're not ready. They will not give us the salary with the money to take care of these kids. The only thing I did is make sure every children come to KanKouran. I need to see your grade, because soon they got them, I got them. The grade is low. Before you come back to class, you got to raise it up. I played the game with them for years. All the people grow up with me. Mostly them a school teacher. Some of them running dance department. Some of them are principal at school. They all contribute back to that tradition, that educator. And that's the one saved KanKouran all these years, because they all got great education, great job. That was my idea, to keep the company survive. Because all the African dance company over the years died because that. Manga the funding, Manga the support. So they can survive. But what I did is all the people grow up with me got to get a good education. That way you got a good job. That way we can keep going. And that's the game I play with them to today. Education first. There's no money here for you to sit here doing African dance for salary. Ain't happening. Might be later, and not there. And that's the agenda I'm doing. That's the reason why we're still hanging.
Thank goodness. I love it. Thank you, Baba. Ramatu, what has been your experience? And you used to teach 11th grade. Is that true?
Everywhere. All the grades.
And when I was reading, I was like, I wonder what her classroom used to look like.
It was dance and drums. I grew up getting in trouble in when I was in high school, in class. Like, I would take my history notebooks, geography notebooks, all my notebooks, I turned them. I have a group of about 5 of us. I was the ringleader. I would turn it into song and music. We were the ones that the teacher is teaching, and we're playing music and we're singing the whole notebook. We memorized the whole notebook from beginning to the end. And I used to get in big trouble for that. But the only reason I would get away, with that is because I kept my grades very high, one of the top 3 in the classroom of 30 something all the time. So when I get in trouble, they'll let me go and say, she's very smart, she will make it, and they'll let me go. So when I came here, like what Papa Assane is saying, let me piggyback on that. I didn't even realize he was doing that until he announced it on stage one time. And I said, Tokwasi was right. She said, this is the guy that you need to follow because you two are alike. I do that in my company where if a kid is making below C, they cannot be in rehearsal. I created like an after school table. They have to sit there and do their work while the others dance. And if you're not making A, B, you are not gonna perform either, and you're not gonna rehearse. You do some kind of warm-up exercise to get that, and then you go to the homework room. That's how I used to have them, kids company. And being at the Stone Mountain Charter School at that time, it was a middle school and a charter school. I went to a residency through Woodruff Art Center, and it was supposed to be a 3-week residency. So what I did, there's some kids that were failing. A lot of them were failing. That's why they ended up in the charter school. So I would tutor them in between my dance classes, but I would use drums and dance, and we play and we tutor. And after that, end of my 3 weeks residency, the director called me. The kids had written a petition to fire their dance teacher from the school, and they want me to be the dance teacher. And it was a Caucasian woman, and she taught ballet and all of that. And I said, no, I don't do all of that. I'm a special teacher that come in and do this special program, and I go away. And they said, we want to change it to African dance, and it was 99% black. So they're like, we want to change it to African dance, and the teacher was Caucasian. The director. So she called me up and said, Ramatu, how can we keep you here? And I said, no, I can't be kept in one place. I'm the one that go everywhere, so that we can spread this culture. If you keep me here, other people will not have the opportunity, to ever see this. She said, we can talk to Woodruff Art Center, and that has never happened to me. She said, we can talk to Woodruff Art Center. When you have to go, you have to go. Your classes will be when you're available. We can rotate. We have, and they had a meeting the whole school, and they kept me there for 2 years. So what this did for the students was, I went into their classrooms. I was sitting like math, science, and see where they're having difficulty. And I'll take that. If it's Kakilambe song we got to do with that, we're going to turn, that song to Kakilambe, do their notes. And before you know it, these kids were excelling in school. And there was a particular one that really danced ballet and jazz, and they made fun of him. You know how kids bully each other? They bullied this guy to the point, I won't tell you yet what he almost did, but I didn't know that. And I took him under my wings. I made him the dance captain that would do all the warm-ups because he run out of class because they're bullying him. So when I would see him in the hallway, I'll bring him in to do my warm-up for the next dance class. And with that, he stayed in school. I think a few years later, and then in that school, they let me start the children's dance company. It was about 35 children in the company that were dancing with me. Then a few years later, the mother to that boy called me, and she said that he wanted her to find me to say thank you that I saved his life. Actually, that means he almost committed suicide at that time before I met him. Now he's at Juilliard School of the Arts. And he was saying it was because of me that he made it there, that he was sending his gratitude. So when you were saying to tell one of the, that's one of them, the stories of the impact that what we're doing here makes, to the community and to the society, and preserving our culture and preserving our people and uplifting them so that they can have motivation towards life. And when they know where they're coming from, I think that kind of boosts their morale and confidence to do and to face other people and to also respect other people, because in our culture we teach mutual respect. We're not about discrimination. We love our culture, and that's one thing that you can see that resonates with us. When we enter the place, we come in culture and we live in culture. And to add to that, when I was on tour with my husband, diplomatic tour, I was in Kinshasa. The job that I had was a teacher coordinator, where I supervised 50 professors in the English department for the American English school that the embassy was running. And I was able to connect to all the artists in town, different dance company and the National Ballet. And I created a Black History program for the embassy and brought them in. And after the performance with them, the offer that I made them was to attend the language school, English language school, that the State Department was running, so they can speak English, because these are artists that travel all over the world but didn't speak English. And the State Department allowed that grant to go through, where 50 artists were enrolled in the school, and they had a graduation of at least 50%. So a few months ago, I got a call from Egypt, and it was one of the students that I mentored that graduated from there. And he was on the interview, he was saying that it was Mama Ramatu from the State Department that brought this blessing to him. He's been interviewed in English, and he understood, and he was speaking English. So this is, again, one of the things that what we're doing, we're here to support our people.
Absolutely. So Mama Ramatu, you have been doing arts integration for many, many years.
Yes. By myself from school, that got me in trouble. I can tell you one. In my science, you know how they have the atoms and neutrons? I
Yes.
still know that song from middle school that I created for my little team with the
see that?
music that we play. You want me to sing that? I'll sing it for you.
Real quick, go ahead, go.
Helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluoride, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium, and then we will.
And I bet you they still know that song to this day.
I hope they do, because I know many songs. I mean, this is how I study. So when I found these students, when I got to the charter school, the reason they were being kicked out of class and called disruptive was because they were playing music on their tables while the teacher was teaching, and they were giving medicine, their ADHD and all of that. And I came, I said, no. They are very smart, because I saw me, in them. And this is when I collected them. They were all F though. I was A. They were Fs. But before I left that school, 2 years that I was there, they became A student.
Beautiful. Beautiful work, Mama Ramatu. Brother Bradley, I want to talk a little bit about you and Baba Chuck. Tell us some stories about working with the mastermind, Baba Chuck Davis.
Oh, okay. I started working with Chuck in New York, in his New York dance company, the Chuck Davis Dance Company. That was in around 85. And I came in as a replacement because he needed a drummer, and the one that he had was leaving because he had just gotten a job with the transit, so he had to go and do that. So that's when I came in with Chuck in the New York area, and I played with him for a while up there. We did all the Dance Africas, and then we did Dance Black America. I don't know if you've seen that program. That was done. You seen that? Yeah. That was.
Yes.
That was in 85, 86, and then I left New York in 86 and moved to Atlanta and stayed there for 3 years. and was working with that company that Ramatu was talking about, Extensions of Africa, during that time. And then I came back to New York in '89, and I stayed there till '93 and came down here to North Carolina. Then I reconnected with Chuck when I came here and started working with his company, the African American Dance Ensemble. Chuck was like, he reminded me of LaRock Bay. He was a pusher, and which was good because working with LaRock helped me get into Broadway shows. Okay, because LaRock was a pusher, and it was, working with him was like being in boot camp. And so when I came down here, I kind of did the same thing with Chuck, because Chuck would always rehearse us a lot. But you know, we mainly became good friends. Okay, I was like his little brother, you know, and because he would always call me to do this, because he didn't start out on the djembe side of drumming and dance. He started out on the conga side because he came up under the Captain Dunham technique, and that's what we all came up under back then in the '60s. Because djembe didn't really start until, even though it came here in 1959 with the Le Ballet Africain by way of Logic Kamada, but it didn't really take off until the mid '60s, late '60s, early '70s, and then but during that time it was all conga drums, okay, and we was playing mostly Dunham technique. So you know, with Chuck, that's how he started, okay, because when he came to New York from North Carolina, well, he was going into medicine. Chuck wanted to be a nurse. That's what he was going to school for. He went to Howard for that, and then he got caught up in the dance thing. He went to a gig in a show that Olatunji was doing, and he got on the dance floor, and Olatunji saw him dancing because he was 6'6", and so he stood out. Tunji told him he wanted him to dance in his company, and that's how Chuck Davis got into Olatunji's company. Right there at a club.
That's amazing. I didn't know Baba wanted to be a nurse.
Yeah, that's what he went to school for. He was a nurse. Wow. He wanted to be a nurse, yeah. That's what he was studying. And so he kind of incorporated nursing and dancing together, you know, medicine with dance. And but then once he got with Tunji, that was it. He just went all the way. And then when he came, you know, down here, so we kind of stayed in touch with each other all these years. And then he wanted me to become the music director here for the company here in North Carolina, and I did that for 3 years. And then I moved on and started teaching at Duke in '93.
I think that's when I first saw you, because you used to drum for me at a Somerset. Is that where we used to have class?
A Somerset in Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't seen you for a while. When I came down to do American Dance Festival, there you were. I'm like, oh,
I was, yeah. Yeah, because I came down here in '93. Okay. And yeah, that's when I moved down here in '93 and started working with Chuck's company. But working with him, you know, it was definitely a learning tree. Okay, and Chuck knew a lot, but a lot of people didn't know how much Chuck knew. But see, he wouldn't volunteer to tell you anything. But if you asked him any questions, he would give you an answer. And that was one of the things that Chuck did. He even said himself, he said, I'm not volunteering nothing. But if you want to know, if you ask me, I'll tell you. I said, okay, Chuck, so what's going on with this? What's going on with that? And he would sit down and talk to you, give you all the information. And you know, but his dancing started in DC at Howard, you know, by way of the nursing. And so he was trying to do both at the same time.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us, Baba. Mm-hmm. Assane, I wanted you, I'm trying to get a pulse on what's happening in the continent. How much of the dances, the traditional dances, mm-hmm. how often are those still being utilized for the, you know, the traditional dances? and they've been around forever, but how many people are still doing them now? Is the community
You know,
still?
that's yeah, that's a good question. You know, every time you go home, everybody want you to work with them to see, you know, to see their work. May over the years, you know, a lot of things fed out in Africa. And I tell people, you know what, you can go to Africa right now, you know, you got to be in the right place in the right time to see some deep tradition. May, you know, mostly people, they go to the city because, for example, like the South, you can go there, they work. Only time you can see KanKouran when some kind of traditional thing, it have to be end of the year because they farmers. They don't, during those time, you don't see too much traditional dance. In the city, now everything is look like African hip hop. You see it in television, you see it in Facebook. That's the only thing happening. And really, they still have the vocabulary of the tradition. May every day, every month is something new they create through that technique. May deep traditional dance, you got to be in the ceremony to see it. The new generation now, everything is, it just, especially Senegal now is just a Sabbath. Ain't nothing else. They don't know how to dance any other race dance. So you see the dance companies, that's all you see mostly. Because the music, the band, everything now taking over that side. Everybody is, and you can see it in Facebook, all the classes and everything is, only time you see typical deep tradition is a village they show, they dance in Facebook. But beside that, everything is that music, that whining, and that is everywhere. That's the new thing. And so we go home, or they call me here. Every time we got the conference in KanKouran, we get so many phone calls from Africa. We go talk about, man, these people, what they know, what they dance, because they don't know some of these dance. There ain't nobody there to teach them.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because I know that, you know, things have kind of shifted. I think
Yeah,
we have
they
a lot more
shifted.
information
Well,
here.
you've been around us all your life. You know the tradition. And now it's just to look like everything just to been, it's there, man, not in the way it used to be over the years. With the festival art they used to have, they got all the countries come together with representing their race in their country. The ethnic group like Senegal, they used to have a festa where every race in Africa and Senegal will come representing their village with the tradition. All those are gone. Only thing we have is the band and that sukus, I don't know how they call it. I call it the hip hop African. That one you see now, the little kids men can do it. I enjoy watching them in Facebook. They be jamming. Man, I don't see any tradition. I just see them whining and they knew that. It looked lovely. Man, this Senegal now, the National Ballet of Senegal, they have a new director, one of our son. So he's a very good dancer. Somebody was just today called me from Senegal and he was asking me, I say, well, you know, it's a lot of things really, that's Sabbath influence too much now in Senegal because he was disappointed. He went to visit the National Ballet rehearsal. He didn't see really what things he see in KanKouran and all of that. He was excited. Man, he only see a little djembe and a sabar. He just like, what is happened to the other dance? He didn't see it. I said, well, you know, you got to remember, these are new generation. And I tell people all the time, you better off stay in the United States, learn from the old dancer here, than go to Senegal. And I say, I hate to say it, but it's nothing there because I take them there, KanKouran there, everybody want them to dance because they want those movements for their solo. See how shifted they are.
And that's why I asked. And I just wanted to ask, I mean, in general, I've seen traditional West African dance from 1990 until to the present. Some good, some bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I remember,
shifted. It shifted a lot. And
Mhm.
every time I got an interview in this country, really with the art, they always asking me, see, I wanted to change and all that. I say, I can't change. What I do the best is the tradition. And it's a classical, it never die. You can use the technique, the vocabulary, and create things like everybody else. And they do it here with the modern company. They do it in Africa too. Same thing. But for me, I wanted to keep it. I want to make sure KanKouran keep that for the next generation. They can get it and do whatever they want to do with it. Man, I want to keep, I don't sell my video. All these years, you know me, every years I got a new production. Never sell them. I'm going to keep them and I'm going to make sure the company have it like a library for people to keep learning those traditions. I don't sell tape. I don't sell video. I keep them for the, it will be given to some museum for people to go learn because it will die out because ain't nobody holding on to those video in Africa and the tradition. We're not people, we don't keep things, no, in Africa. They just keep going because they feel like they from there, they born there, it's their home. So they're not really documented anything. So they come to the art. But the traditional day, man, you got to be in the right place and the right time to see it. But when you come to the thing, it's band now, the band and that really, and then they copy Europe with the video, with the band, and all of those now. You know, it's the new generation. But the tradition, you better know you get it somewhere else, not in. You got to be in the right place to see.
Sister Ramatu, is that the case in Nigeria as well?
Most of it, but the difference is the national theater in Nigeria. They still make sure that they're holding those festivals. It can be the Yam Festival. It can be the competition that they do from the different villages to come to the National Dance Theater. And those are the villages that will teach the National Dance Theater the traditional dances. Because if you're in the National Dance Theater, you may come from one tribe and know your dance, but because you're there, all the different tribes that come to teach them, you get to learn from all those tribes and preserve it there.
That's the way you represent the ballet.
Yes. So when I go home, when I go home to study, I go to the village. I don't want to deal with anybody in the city because they're just mixing, because my mission is preservation of the indigenous African culture. That's what I go for. And then I look at dances that have similarity with another ethnic group or tribe. I like to use tribe. It's nothing bad. Then I try to find out why are they doing something similar, something the same. And that's what took me to Congo too. There was a dance that I was studying in Nigeria called, from the Tiv people, T-I-V, Tiv people, called Swange. The year I was studying it, I saw Mabiba do 2 steps of the dance she called Mutu Ashe, and I'm like, that looks like a dance from Nigeria. You all copied from Nigeria. And when she told me what it was, when we were deployed to go to Congo, I said to myself, I want to study that dance. She said, you better study it right and come and teach me. And when I went, I told the professor at the Arts Institute, I want to study Mutu Ashe, and I don't want to study with people on the street and all of that because they just be doing whatever and want money or whatever. So, and he happens to be from that tribe. So he told me, what we're going to do with you here, you're going to leave every dance you've ever studied or know. Act like you're a baby, just newborn. We're going to train you from scratch. You're going to speak the language with your body and everything. I say, okay. And he said, for 1 year. I said, what? He said, you can't do any dance while you're in Congo. For 1 year, that's all you're going to eat, drink, and dance. I said, but I want to study other tribes. He said, no, then I can't teach you. You got to just do that one. Let everything go. And I did that for real for 1 year. They limited me to just studying that dance. Actually, I didn't get to actually take a step in 2 months. I was just in a position of how to dance, walking across the gym. Like, man, I suffered. But this is how they teach somebody. So you have to unteach yourself what you learn to learn another tribe to really get it right. Those are the type that Assane is talking about. Traditional dances. If you jump from one to one, you need to go to the village. Don't learn from the people in the city, because they're just mixing stuff. They look over there, they mix it and put it into, like you said, they have the foundation, you know, but anything else on top, they're just making it up. And I don't want to learn from that. I'll go to study. That's why I still study with Assane, because yes, he's right. The dances that he does, when you look in Senegal, you're not seeing those dances right now. One particular one I love is Giri. I don't see it anywhere.
You know, and that is a perfect transition, because I was about to ask each of you what's your favorite rhythm and why.
Okay.
So favorite rhythm and why? Think about it. I know it's hard to choose one. I know.
You see that it's the ballet, over the years, the ballet, like Ramatu was saying, the ballet, to be in a dance company in Africa, because you got to remember, every country got mini race. You got to know everybody's culture, everybody's dance. You cannot do in a dance company because each one of us come with something they can do very well. Like you are getting it to ask. It look like that dance is made for you. You got to learn all the ethnic group, because you're representing the whole continent. You're representing the whole place, not just your race. So a lot of them, they come into this company with their race, they know how to dance their race. But when you get there, you got to learn everybody else dancing and race, the singing and everything, you see. And for me, favorite dance, I never have one. I just dance. I just love all of them. I just jam. Whatever you give me the rhythm, honey, and I jam. It's one dance give me a hard time, because I'm getting older with my knee. It's Bugarabu. But beside that, any dance you give me, I heard it. But Bugarabu, everybody want me to teach it because nobody teach it. And I always end up with the pain. And everywhere I go, they always say, they put me in the schedule, Kuturo. I say, golly, why? I want to teach something else. Man, they get me the schedule, everybody looking for it. Everywhere I go, Papa said, let's put Papa Sam to do Bugarabu. I said, man, I'm the only one teaching Bugarabu the whole United States, all the way to Africa. They say, Papa, you're the only one we see can do whole piece. Remember the National Ballet come here, they play the Bugarabu, they slow and they accept. You the only one we see, you have a whole piece. So we want to learn the dance. Man, it killed my need. That dance, that's not, I'm going to tell you the dance I don't like. Man, everything else, I love it. That one, he killed my need.
Okay, fair enough, Baba. Fair enough. You gave me one of something.
I'll tell you the pain one, but not the good one. Diedre, maybe everybody here, nobody will schedule me no more. I got to
put out the announcement. No more Bugarabu for Baba Assane.
Thank you.
Baba Bradley, what's your favorite?
I got a bunch of them, but the one that stands out is Sunu.
That's one of my favorite too. I love me some Sunu.
Right, yeah, Sunu, and there's two different ways of playing Sunu. You can play it in the 4/4 timing, or you can play it the original way in the 6/8 timing. Okay.
Got it right, brother.
Right, you don't hear too much in 6/8.
You don't hear those.
You know what? I think there's some footage of International doing Sunu to the 6/8 as part of Dance Africa. Somebody showed a clip of that, and I was like, well, I've never heard Sunu played like that, but I believe it's in that rhythm.
Right, but
it's right. It's a two-language day.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, but the traditional way of playing Sunu is in 6/8 timing, because the ballet Senegal, that's how they would play it. Got
it.
That's the one that moves you. what most people are used to hearing, ding, 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 ding. That brings you on the upbeat. But the one that takes you on the downside is the one in 6/8. That's the one.
You got
If you
the
want to
word
play
right, brother.
if you want to play Suno, play it in 6/8. Start and
The
I
stop.
Bob, so
Yeah,
so
the
Baba Bradley, I
68.
gotta find you so you can play that 6/8.
Because you know what happened is that with the
Yeah,
60,
anytime.
what happened is with the 68, the people, the old school dancer with the Sunu, the real tradition, they the one fit with that 60. Now, so you have the modification one. That's the one you deal with, that second one you talk about. And the first one you talk about, that's the one you can feel the rhythm and the language.
Yes.
The movement fit with that.
That's right.
Some people, sometimes we change it, change it. No, the third one where they used to say, ding, 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 tack, ding, 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 tack. That's another modification, new generation doing now with the Sunu.
Gotcha.
Like we said earlier, they start eating up all the language. Because they're not dancing the real tradition. So you get a lot of creation, you got to redo the rhythm to fit with the creation.
Like,
So you want to dance a typical tradition.
On that note, we have a Facebook question.
Oh.
They would like to know, going forward, what are some things, some ideas that can be done to preserve the traditional rhythms in Africa, just like we're talking about? How do we keep these things alive? Because, you know, we're liable to have the first Sunu just completely disappear because of the new one and the way that people are taught the new way of playing Sunu. So how do we keep both traditions alive?
The way to keep it alive is you got to teach it.
For me, Diedre, I keep everywhere I travel or they come to the conference, I'm still talking to them to try to hold on to the tradition. It's good you can create, but try to hold on to the tradition because it never fade out. Doesn't matter how much you've been teaching and how much you've been choreographing, that tradition you using, it never die out. It never look like, because creation die. Then you create, next time you want to choreograph, you add something else again. And you begin to lose the whole quality and the purpose of the dance. That's the reason why limited creation and don't think you boring because the tradition is not boring.
Yeah.
It never die. It's a classical. You can add something on it, you got to go back to it.
Yes.
Because what I do sometimes in KanKouran, we don't do no more nothing. We can hold on to one dance, look like this is the first time they learn it. Because after you do it, the piece all the time, you begin to lose the quality. So we got to go back to the ABC to make it a little more powerful and little more dancing, not you comfortable just doing it with your feeling.
Yeah.
I got to go back to represent the piece, the unity, the beauty together, the strength together. Because all of us got different body language. We do dance together all the time with the same piece. Next thing you know, everybody doing it different way because they know the dance, they relax, they feeling it, and they put themselves on it, and then they begin to look tacky.
So, Baba, what we need to do is go back to studying.
Yes.
You said I didn't want to say it.
Oh, but they've been saying that, you know, in every conference, I don't know.
Right? We have to study. We can't keep doing this, the hottest step, and thinking that we're really doing something. Holding on to the tradition is how we got this far. So we have to continue.
Yes, it is. We got this far, and we're still doing it. We're still doing it.
Respect the simplicity, respect the discipline of what it is. And
yes, you know, we getting too much. You're getting too much, man. You know, dancing, man, it's so lovely to watch. People with the beauty. You know, I tell people all the time, you don't have to fight with the dance. This is a dance. Man, now the rhythm so fast and all these, oh man, I'd be like, wow. I'd be like, too much.
Yeah, and I think to contribute to what you asked, to answer that question, conversations should be opportunity to discuss this like we're doing right now in each dance conference, is a key, and I know that we do that here in Atlanta. But the only problem is when you put that there, our people definitely walk away from it. Somebody like Christian will stay for the conversation when we will put it on Papa. All the masters are sitting here, let's talk. And people walk away from it, but we're not going to give up. Since we're here as the preservers, we're the gatekeeper of our culture, we will continue to do it until the younger folks, Christian and them, take it over and continue to create this avenue where you can sit the masters down to talk to the community, to the younger ones about our culture, the authenticity. We need to preserve it because somebody else is taking it, documenting it, and then it's going to be gurgitated back to us at a higher expense, whether monetarily, emotionally, or whatever. But this is what the future is going to become. I may not, but I don't want that to be.
And also the issue is, sometimes is we are everybody, we Black people love title. Everybody want to have their own kingdom, and it's not helping. It's not helping us for the support we need with this foundation and everything. So you got 100. Everybody want to have a class. Everybody want to have an organization. We never get that, that power to able to fight for our next generation and to try to build some school. Because KanKouran, the vision is, it will be a school where they have a curriculum where people can come for African dance. It can take place. And I'm going to work on it before I get out of this earth. It's going. And that's the thing we need. Like Dance Theater Harlem, like not. May all of us see everybody dance a little bit and have their company. We never get there. It's harder to do it. And everybody always want to talk about lesser, how you want to have you need to build something. We can do it. To come together, everybody just to kind of calm it down with everybody want to have their own kingdom. And we see how we want to have something solid where we can put the vision and the writing and everybody, put it on the table like a little organization to get what we're looking for and what help this organization to preserve the tradition. They see everybody got their own thing and then want to create more creation to keep it going. And we never get to what we're looking for to preserve anything. Because this brother, I didn't see him in a while. Man, he looked good. He doing something right. You're doing something right, bro. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
It's good to see you. I remember you from way back.
Oh, yeah, back in the day. That's right. But
it's
listen,
a blessing.
Diedre
it's a blessing.
And Assane, listen, I've seen all the ballet companies.
I know.
This one here, this is from the 70s.
Yeah, the book. I see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at the drummers and dancers on here. I don't know if
I see it.
See that. You see it?
Yeah. I know you from the. Wait, you remember the first time I met you? You don't remember? It was 79. I was right there and visiting some friends in the Manhattan. And then,
right, that's right. 79,
and then next thing I know, I tell my guests, the guest was Kiwi. That time I just got here. I didn't hardly speak English. And I tell the people and around Central Park, that's the way I was staying with some friends from the State Department before I go to California. And I say, I hear drum. And they say, Papa San, you think you're in Africa? They talking to me in French. I said, no, I hear drum. They say, no. I say, let's put our clothes, let's walk. I follow the sound. I end with what? You and Chuck Davis, you're performing in Central Park. Soon Chuck say me, he starts screaming. He said, no, I know this boy. I know him in the stadium in Senegal dancing all the way around. That's the one, the history he talk about all the time. I didn't hardly speak English, man. I recognize Chuck because the tall, the big, I just scream. We start hugging each other. I didn't speak English. He said, what are you doing here? I don't have it out there. I tell him, I'm going to California. That's the last time. That's the first time I see them. And then after that, they keep bringing me back from California with international, with Randa them and Haitian. They keep bringing me every other month in New York to teach. That's the time these couture and everything start happening in New York. You've been seeing the ballet. They never have Senegalese come here. So that was the chance for everybody. Amani and everybody. Every minute they send me, fly me back to New York to teach in the warehouse.
Well, listen, I'm about to wrap this up, and it has been beautiful.
It was good.
I thoroughly enjoy sitting at the feet of my elders, Mama Monie Payne, Sister Wilhelmina Taylor, you know, all of these people laying it down. And I'm so happy to have been tapped on the shoulder by Sulé to lead this discussion. And I hope that we continue to do this on a larger level.
Yes,
and I also charge teachers to go back to teaching the song, teaching the meaning, stopping the class to talk about the whole cultural aspect of things, talk about the simplicity of the movement, talk about the root steps versus the auxiliary steps, talk about all of that foundational stuff so we can definitely move forward, keeping our tradition alive by ourselves.
Yeah, one of the things that you was asking Diedre about preserving the history and the culture is that whatever dance or drum class you're teaching, bring all that up in the class.
Absolutely.
Okay, because that's how you're going to keep it going, because they don't know that. And the only way for them to know it is if you teach it to them or tell them the stories.
Right.
That's one of the things that when I was playing for Hazel Bryan and Rhonda in New York, they would sit the class down in a circle. Okay, and they would start telling them history of what they're getting ready to do, where it all came from, you know, and how it all got started, so that they could understand what was going on with the drumming, the music, and the dance. And because Hazel would go see the ballet company and memorize the whole entire choreography.
She had that incredible brain.
Right, and take it and bring it right back to class. Okay, and we would start playing it.
So go to Senegal, come back, man.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to teach it in order for them to know it. If you don't teach it, they won't know it. That's
so
it.
we charge everyone to show up to class with their journals like we used to do back in the days.
Yeah.
Get that information and log it and commit it to memory so that we pass on the tradition in the way that we're supposed to pass on the tradition so it sticks around for our grandchildren.
All right.
Exactly.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
This has been absolutely amazing, an amazing conversation. We can have this conversation every day. I feel like this is just how much history, how much wealth, and how much, you know, we've truly been blessed with each of you amongst others whose shoulders we can stand on, who can show us the way, and who's really maintaining our cultural traditions, in addition to all of us just being really, really interconnected. You know, Baba Assane being Ramatu's teacher, Ramatu and Baba Assane being one of my teachers. It shows how really connected we are, you know, and being able to pull everybody together so that we can tell these stories. It's important for us because we do need to make sure that we pass these traditions down to our children, you know, and as we're moving into this digital age, it's a blessing to even be able to meet here on a Zoom call to have these conversations. We're in different parts of the world, but we're here together. So we're together as we're apart, if you could just imagine that. Again, these conversations are based off of one of the books that we've been reading as a company called Hot Feet and Social Change. A number of our community members are a part of that book. Go out and buy that book, Mama Karyamu. We're dedicating this conversation to her. And all of the work that she put into our community and also being able to document that. So Mama Karyamu, rest in peace. As usual, we are at the foot of our elders, but we are also here with our ancestors as they bring all of their energy into this so that we can keep preserving our traditional cultures and moving forward. Again, we're Djoli Kelen Inc. This is At the Feet of Our Elders. Thank you, Diedre. Thank you, Baba Bradley, Baba Assane, and Mama Ramatu for being here with us. We look forward. Let's make this more conversations. Y'all can go and see the comments on Facebook. It'll be posted to our YouTube page as well, so that we can continue these conversations. Reach out. you know, as we get into this digital age, don't forget to pick up a phone and call someone. Don't forget, because we're all here. We all still have to maintain that one-on-one connection as well, outside of being so digital and texting and commenting. Pick up the phone and talk to someone. It's still there. They still work. So thank you so much. This is Djoli Killen's Inc. multi-event Black History Month program. It lasts all month long.